Da 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 da
The sound of my shoes against the sidewalk echoed in the dark night. Only the light of the moon, a few street lamps, and some couples hiding in corners kept me company in my favorite spot. Amongst the white noise of the river and the distant sounds of cars passing by, I felt at peace. I was able to lose myself in nature while being tethered to the city. As my feet tired, I took a seat beneath a small tree. Its pink blooms were eerily illuminated by the moonlight shining through. I closed my eyes as a small breeze blew off the river and wrapped itself around me. It felt warm and welcoming, so I gave it a silent, heartfelt wish. Seconds later, I felt a new sensation on my skin. I looked down to find that the pink blooms had fallen all around me. A small smile crept to my face as I hoped I had been heard. A month passed before I saw any glimmer of hope for my wish. On the next full moon, I received a notification from a friend that a coworker of hers was interested in meeting me. Usually I would be afraid to meet someone new so soon, but I felt confident and decided to give him a try. We met at a small cafe in town. He was tall and had eyes the color of caramel. I savored that first glance I got of them because I couldn't tear my eyes off my cup of tea. All the confidence that I felt earlier had drained. "You must not go out a lot," he asked with a chuckle. I shook my head as he chuckled again. It was a sound that rose deep from his chest and somehow remained light, warm, and comforting at the same time. "There's no need to be nervous. I have no plans on biting you." The comment made me laugh and calm my nerves a bit. I raised my eyes and was greeted by a warm smile and inviting eyes. "See? Nothing to be afraid of." We spent the rest of our time talking about our favorite books and authors. When we got to music, we found out we had a lot in common. He had a passion for EDM and confessed that he'd been hoping to convince me to join him at a show downtown tonight. "Of course I would love to go," I exclaimed. "What time does it start?" He looked at his watch. "Actually, it starts in 15 minutes, but if we leave now, we'll only miss the very beginning and we can enjoy the rest." I picked up my mug and drained the rest of my tea before quickly putting it down. "Okay, let's get our groove on." The bright swirling lights and the loud thumping of the bass was welcoming to my ears. An energetic and beautiful woman handed us glow sticks and we automatically threw into the air. The music coursed through my body and gave me a rhythm to follow. In no time, I had his eyes transfixed on all my moving curves. "You're much better at dancing than you are at talking," he yelled in my ear. I gave him a grin and wink before I grabbed his shirt and moved him closer to me. "I'm even better at this," I stated, as I slid my hand behind his head and pulled him down into a deep kiss. A large smile formed on his face as we pulled away. I would have to argue," he chimed as he pulled the lower part of my body closer to his. We spent the rest of the performance dancing, grinding, and making out until the last DJ played. Afterwards, we retired to the riverfront. I led him directly to the tree where I had made my wish months ago. "So this is your favorite spot?" he asked as we sat upon the soft ground. I nodded. "Yes, I've spent a lot of time here." My date slid his hand across my jawline. "I know. I've seen you here before." I raised my eyebrows as the hair on my neck and arms began to stand. "Oh, you have?" He nodded as his fingers slid down my neck. "Yes. I also visit this place often," he said with a slight hiss. When I edged back, I was greeted with a large smile and hands with pointed teeth. "And I've been itching to sink my teeth into you." As he lunged at me, I felt a smile form upon my lips as we fell. I felt the smile widen and lengthen. By the time my back hit the ground, I had arched my legs ready to push him off me and roll onto all fours. My date let out a loud hiss of disgust as he jumped back from my werewolf form. I knew I'd been smelling a newbie vamp from the park for a while. I snarled with my lips curled. I'm so lucky that I was able to get close to you before this moment. I love to play with my prey. I really don't know what you're talking about, the vampire stated. I'm about to rip you limb from limb if you get any closer. I barked a laugh that made the baby vamp scuttle back a bit. I would love to see you try. Have it your way, he yelled as he lunged at me again with greater force this time. I smiled again as I felt him throw his full force into me. His fangs pulled and snagged at every inch of me that he could reach, while I pulled his body into a bone-crushing hug. The sound of his crackling bones echoed in the empty park. Moonlight glistened against both of our spilled blood that rested upon the grass. His groans of pain sent an electric fever through my body that felt delicious. As I grabbed his limbs and yanked them from his hard body, I knew the night could not get any better. After I finished grinding my date's body to a pulp, I sat beneath the small tree in my favorite spot, in the light of the moon. My panting slowed as I felt the warm breeze itself wrap around me. In the quiet moments, I relished the feel of the fresh kill upon my fur and gave a thanks to the universe for giving me the perfect night. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of D.O. Holmes Presents. Perfect Night was brought to us by Tiffany Pennywell, a Northwest Louisiana author who's published other works before. We actually had a collaborative piece, the Seemingly Strange and Unusual Tales series, which is available on Amazon. But she's also published some works of poetry, Window to My Soul, Follow My Downward Spiral, and Face and Embrace Yourself, which you can also purchase on Amazon.com. Be sure to follow the links below if you'd like to keep up with her. And again, thank you for coming. Remember to like and subscribe, and tune in next week for another episode of D.O. Holmes Presents.